Hi, today I want to talk about a serious topic, and I don't know exactly where I'm going with it. I don't know if it would be any help to anybody at all, but it weighs heavily on me. I think about it a lot, and that's the topic of uh, men feeling socially isolated in current society. And if you're like me, you kind of get these videos coming in. If you're just a regular, slightly older guy, and they're like, I'm 30 and I have no friends, I'm 40 and I have no friends. And some of them are disingenuous, for sure. Some of them are, I've seen one guy and he posts one every day. It's like, I'm an MIT graduate, I have no friends, I lost my job, I lost my wife. Then the next day it's like, I trashed my car, I have no friends. So he does that every day, but a lot of them are real. And I know they're real because I experienced them in real life too. I watched a video the other day, and this one kind of hit hard. It was a guy who escaped from his family, and he just recorded a video in his closet, and he was just explaining how lonely he was. And his wife, kids were right outside, but I guess he didn't have that third group to talk to, you know, just other guys about things. So I want to preface this with saying I'm personally not really lonely, and I've never been a lonely kind of person. I've always kind of tried to escape from others. I've never had a hard time making friends. There's actually too many of them around, and even now, and I'm 53, for God's sakes. But I've had a lot of friends. I did a video a few years ago about one of my old friends from high school. He challenged me to do this on Facebook. He challenged me to do one of these chain competitions, and it was 50 push-ups for 50 days to raise awareness for mental health issues, especially for men, and suicide at that. And I've had a lot of friends that committed suicide. So I usually would ignore that kind of thing, but I took them up on the challenge, and I did my 50 push-ups for 50 days. 25 push-ups. Sorry, it was 25. It wasn't 50. Well, I could have done 50, but oh well. And concluded that video. It ended up like kind of my first, almost like a feature presentation. I put a little more production work in it than anybody else did, and because it hit close to home. And I listed off the guys that had killed themselves that I knew, and too many of them had wives and kids. And you know, I don't know where that sits in society. I don't know how to reconcile that with the world. So when the 2020 lockdowns kept going, I did the challenge at the start of that, but as they kept going on and on and on, I adopted a very laissez-faire attitude. I was like, to hell with these people. Let them kill themselves. If they want lockdowns forever, let them go. Let them go. I don't want them around anymore. But the guy in the closet doing his video kind of circled me around to that, back to this. And I wish there was an easy answer. I really, really do. And a lot of people will say, in the comments on these videos, they'll say things like, well, you got to join a men's club, or you got to join an extracurricular activity like bird watching or something. You got to go where the women are and the men are, and make some friends. It's not that easy for some of these guys. Some of these guys, I mean, they cast a little bit of a shadow around them. They don't make friends easily. They have anxiety issues, or I mean, they can just look bizarre. They could just look like somebody you don't want to be friends with. And I don't know where to place those men. Those men are fine. The ones you get to know these guys, they're perfectly great gentlemen. But what to do about this, I don't know. So not knowing where to go, a lot of guys are going to flock to people like Jack Murphy and his liminal order. And we know how that ended up. That it didn't end up so well for him, and a little embarrassing for his followers, to say the least. And you know, a lot of the red pill sphere is just It's just kooks and tell you to get healthy, sun your balls, and pick up women. Oh, then that's your cure. But that's not your cure, and a lot of guys can't even do that. So they're stuck, really stuck. And there is a saying that men don't have friends once they're over the age of 30 or 40, and for myself, that's not true. I joined this travel group, and we get together annually, and some of my greatest friends came via that sphere. This guy Dave in Manchester, and Klaus in Denmark, and Alan in Denmark, and Chris in Germany, and we try to hang out every year. And an interesting thing happened is, as I got reached out from some of my older friends from back when I used to play in a band. These were the roadies, and they've been getting together in this cabin in the dead of winter in Canada, about minus 30, and they've been getting together there every year for a weekend for like a decade, and they've been doing it since one of this group, Chris, he committed suicide. So it's kind of a sad remembrance, but it's a real male bonding. I'm not recommending this because a lot of guys don't even have this kind of option. I uploaded an old VHS tape recently on YouTube. It took off more than my other videos because people like watching the 90s. It was a little more of a realistic time, I guess, a more interpersonal time. And there's this I was watching it, and there's this very telling thing on it, and our friend Nat, this girl, is just standing there, and the drummer from my band, Ed, reaches over, and he pulls some things out of Nat's hair, just leaves that were stuck in her hair. And you don't really see that kind of thing anymore. And I remembered, it all came flashing back, that people used to be closer, and they would actually, it was no problem to reach over and groom somebody. That was not a thing that anybody ever thought about. And that social cohesion is just being completely broken now. We know, and we're kind of living through a dystopian time. You know, everybody's under stress, everybody's got money issues, everybody's a little demoralized, so I don't know where that plays. And people diverge as they get older. I lost a lot of friends, and I'm still losing them because of the 2020 to 2022 thing, where their moral values are so divergent from my own that I can't have them around when they're actively working against everything I believe in, and that includes, you know, freedom for my daughter, really, freedom for a 4-year-old. And I know there's a lot of single women, single lonely women, because my Facebook tells me that all the time, and they don't have kids, and they're older and they can't have kids anymore. I don't know where that leaves them. So I think this video is a lot of I don't know. I recognize the problem, I don't know, and I don't think anybody else does either. Friend from my daughter's school, this woman, she asked me if I could, she wanted to set up a date with her husband, with me, like a play date for grown men, and I had to tell her, like, I can't. My schedule's full. Like, I can't hang out with your husband because I'm spending time trying to hang out with my other friends in the small slices I get in family life, right? I only go out I go out once a week with 2 older gentlemen. They're retired guys, and I'm 53, they're in their 60s, but we just go for 2 hours and we have beer at a pool hall, and we're the only guys in the pool hall. And that aspect of society is also missing again, kind of the regulars at a pub. It used to be almost every pub had a set of regulars, every pub or bar, and you could go there and you knew there'd be people you know, and you could hang out with them. And through that, guys would say things like, you know, I'm gonna shingle my roof tomorrow, or I'm gonna like work in my garden, and the other guy would say, yeah, do you want any help? I'll come over. And then the next day he'd regret it, but he would usually be there. That's gone. That's gone. We live in a really kind of bleak, non-functioning world. Like, I don't know how to even put it into terms, so you can help me out. Thinking about that, this is completely aside. I was in a pawn shop well, not recently, a couple of years ago, but at the side of the pawn shop, and I don't think most pawn shops take these, there was a giant 3 stacks of family photo albums. You know, and I sat down and I kind of flipped through these family photo albums, and it was kids at the beach and grandparents and like some older black and whites of like old relatives from World War II kind of era. And I thought, what the hell is going on? How did these family photo albums end up in a pawn shop? Like so many of them, stacks of, it must have been the only pawn shop that would take them, because I've never seen that before. And I have to believe that people bring in their photo albums to pawn shops, and pawn shops say no, I'm not taking those. That's incredibly sad. I don't. There's no respect for your heritage, or you're so disconnected from it. I don't know. So I don't know what to say out of this. I mean, a lot of us are currently living in like a fake country and a fake society and a fake world and fake interactions and kind of fake everything. And the dogs are barking out there. Holy Jesus. It is frustrating to do almost anything. You know, everything from driving to just getting an order at a fast food place seems like a trial out of hell. You know, and people say you have it so easy. You don't know how easy it is. Just go and get takeout. You know, your surf ancestors in the medieval times couldn't do that. Granted, but I lived through the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s, well, all the 2000s, and it wasn't like that. Everybody knows it wasn't like that. Something shifted. Where does it leave our kids? I think about that a lot. What kind of society is the 4-year-old and the 11-year-old going to go into? So it's not going to get better. I don't have any solutions. A lot of people put their videos online saying they're lonely. A lot of people say I have the solutions. They don't match up. There's no pairing of those two things. They don't have any realistic answers. So I don't know. Just putting that out there, because it concerns me, and it should concern a lot of us, because these are our sons that have to go into this. Our sons and our friends, and they're dying. They're dying, and they're hopeless. That's all I have. If you have any comments, I'd like to hear them. I'm not doing a clickbait one like so many out there, but so many of them are earnest as well. That's that. Guys, I guess just reach out to someone when you're desperate.